In 1989, Nintendo released a small gray plastic brick. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't fast, it had no color, no backlight, and looked like something your dad might use to check his blood pressure. But somehow, it became the most beloved handheld of all time. This is the story of the Game Boy, where portability met possibility. It all started with the same man who gave us the Game & Watch, the late, great Gunpei Yokoi. Fresh off a decade of handheld success, Yokoi wanted to go bigger. Not color, not power, bigger in impact. His team at Nintendo R&D1 envisioned a handheld system that could play multiple games, like a home console you could smuggle into math class. And so, in April 1989, Japan got its first taste of the Game Boy. By July, North America followed, bundled with a little-known Russian puzzle game called Tetris. And boom, the world changed. Now let's talk about design. The Game Boy wasn't trying to win any beauty contests, no way. It was chunky, it was monochrome, it was powered by 4 AA batteries, and you'd better believe it ate them. But under Yokoi's mantra of lateral thinking with withered technology, this humble handheld was a masterpiece of restraint. Simple controls, A, B, start, select, and the D-pad so good it became the industry standard. No fragile parts, no bright screen to blind you, just pure, portable gameplay. The kind of tech that wouldn't melt if you left it on a radiator. Probably, because if it was able to withstand the pressure in deep space, you better believe it can withstand anything. Alright, time for a geeky peek under the hood. The CPU was a Sharp LR35902, an 8-bit Frankenstein of a chip combining Zilog Z80 and Intel 8080 DNA, clocked at a whopping 4.19 MHz. The display was 160 over 144 pixels, rendered in 4 lovely shades of pea soup. No backlight. If you wanted to play under your covers, bring a flashlight or 2. The sound had 4 audio channels, square waves, custom waveforms, and gritty white noise. It could chirp a full symphony, or at least something you'd hum in the shower. The cartridges were swappable ROM cards. Some came with built-in save batteries. Others, passwords and good old pain. As for power, 4 AA batteries, like I said earlier, up to 30 hours of juice. Eat that, Game Gear! Finally, for connectivity, that link cable wasn't just for Tetris duels. It made Pokemon trades possible. Because of course, you needed a friend with blue if you had red. Let's not kid ourselves. A console lives or dies by its games, and the Game Boy had legends. Let's start with Tetris, the killer app. Simple, addictive, and dangerously hypnotic. Fun fact, it got past the Iron Curtain and into our hearts all in one go. Next, we have Super Mario Land. Mario with submarines and sphinxes. Weird. Yes. Iconic. Also yes. Zelda Link's Awakening. A dreamlike adventure with charm for days. And yes, the raccoon was real. What? Metroid 2. Gritty, moody, and introduced baby Metroid hugs. And then Pokemon, released in 1996, 7 years into the system's life. Just when people were ready to write off the Game Boy, it evolved, literally. Here's the part where Nintendo does what Nintendo does best, outselling stronger rivals with weaker hardware. The Atari Lynx had color, the Game Gear had backlighting, the Game Boy had Tetris, and Pokemon, and batteries that didn't die after 30 minutes. It became the handheld for everyone, from school kids to grandparents, commuters to astronauts. Yes, Game Boys went to space, like I said earlier. By the time it retired, the original Game Boy and its successor, which will be covered in our next video, had shipped over 118 million units combined. That's not just a win, that's a legacy. The Game Boy created a blueprint that Nintendo never stopped following. Practical over powerful, quirky over conventional, and always fun first. Without Game Boy, there's no DS, no 3DS, no Pokemon Empires, perhaps not even a Switch. And in 2021, Nintendo gave the Game Boy an overdue nod, bringing its classics to modern systems, including Tetris 99. Proof that the magic never really faded. In 1996, Gunpei Yokoi left Nintendo after a legendary run. A year later, he passed away in a tragic accident. He didn't live to see just how massive Pokemon became, or how many millions more his creations would inspire. But his design principles, his humble gray brick, and his dream of fun in your pocket, oh, they live on in every Nintendo console today. It wasn't about horsepower. It wasn't about screen resolution. It was about joy and maybe a little imagination. And just when the Game Boy felt like it had done everything, Nintendo added a splash of color.